Hi, I'm Kalea Smith, and today I want to talk about the psychosocial effects of natural disasters on children for the psychology community. So an introduction on myself. I'm also a psychology major, so this is something that also pertains to my life as well. I've grown up in Seattle in this area all my life, so in the PNW we are very close to the Cascadia subduction zone, which has a potential of eventually creating an earthquake, about an 8.4 to 9 point earthquake on the Richter scale, which would be devastating for this community. And I've grown up hearing about that, so it's always been something a little bit on my mind. And then I'm also Japanese, and so in 2011 there were a series of tsunamis and aftershocks that affected large parts of Japan. And then I also believe that preparation and education are a key to safety and community building support within natural disasters. So a relevant background on this: natural disasters are, one, unpredictable, and two, can be very devastating. They are also likely to increase in intensity and regularity as the climate crisis proceeds in the way that it has the past few years. Natural disasters can include floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, volcanic eruptions, storms, other geological processes. Within the climate crisis, it can also cause large droughts, as we're seeing in California. And as the temperature of the earth rises, the heat creates more water vapor, which fuels bigger and worse storms. The rising sea levels also expose higher locations to new kinds of natural disasters and erosion as well. And also, mental health is critical to the future success of adolescents, which is our coming generation. And when natural disasters occur, it affects a whole area, a whole community. So that's a whole area or community that could be set back by this generation that's affected. Human health effects, again, communities are destroyed. Parents, family members, teachers, those can all be lost within a natural disaster. Depending on the intensity of it, their lives could also just be affected in a way that, again, affects these children. Natural disasters place an incredible amount of stress on parents. An article published in Professional Psychology says that kids look to parents to identify how to respond within a natural disaster. It places more emphasis on parents being available and there for their kids when they are now dealing with their own trauma within this natural disaster occurring. The developmental stage is critical to children and adolescents' well-being in the future and the risks that can occur because of that. Also, there are many models that we are moving on. Vulnerable populations that can be heavily affected by natural disasters are children, of course. They are dependent on their environment and their support. Also, disabled children, this could be a physical disability, developmental, mental health. Obviously, natural disasters create a loss of accessibility to these people. Low income, anyone already struggling to make ends meet, suddenly may not have a job to go to, income to support their families. They might not have a home, they might not have their schools. And then people of color as well. are heavily affected, they may be less likely to receive aid from outside sources. So solutions to this, where we can step in: financial aid, obviously. Donations are always appreciated by natural disaster communities within rebuilding, training, educating, preparedness. A focus on preparation before natural disasters occur is something that you can use to help your community right now. Community support afterwards. Right now, that support falls to parents, family members, educators, first responders, even doctors. However, we as psychologists can come in and help as well, and there's a huge role to play there. There's a lot of counseling, resource gathering that can be done for these affected, traumatic, or traumatized individuals, and creating training programs. There are many models that have been created in the way of training and helping these children. Louisiana State University has a Katrina-inspired disaster screening kids that is used to measure anxiety versus depressive symptoms within adolescents affected by this trauma. Rice University in Texas, they had an outreach program that went, and that was based within community support again and early childhood educators. The SSET program, it was developed in southern Punjab in Pakistan. This is students affected by trauma, so support for them. And there are multiple resources for that to get involved in something like that. They also created a lot of these programs in the moment of need. So there's a lot of hands-on research as well. Some other resources where we can be involved is the Seattle Office of Emergency Management. There's also SNAP, which is the Seattle Neighborhood Actively Prepare. And then there's also the Seattle Emergency Hubs, so I labeled some of these here. And then I've got my citations here for my research. Thank you so much.